I don't know how to tell you this, but like, just because someone can conversate does not mean that was the best first date ever. I don't know how to tell him this. He's the worst actual date that I've ever been on, and he knows it at this point. Like, to me, I can talk to a wall. So if I'm having a hard time speaking to you, it's bad. I always have to be a little bit tipsy before I try something new.
Oyster is the vinegar vessel.
Yes. And that's how I get it in me in a way of being just like, because I could like sit there and actually drink vinegar, my little vehicle to get it into my mouth in like an appropriate manner. A man needs to blow me up, low-key. He would FaceTime me like, I would call it a cool call. He'd cold call me all the time and I'd be like, what are you doing? I was very much against my relationship. This was the most I've ever been against a relationship in the beginning. He's like FaceTiming me to hang out. I'm like, get off me for a second. Like, give me some space. This is, okay, myself, like this is really awkward. It's definitely, he's gotten it back to him that this has been the worst date. It gave me this weird thing of like self-importance, but not like in a good way. Why did I share that? Like, no, I post it right away. I film it and it's posted. And if I did say that, I was a little liar, okay? Gosh, I pay for my therapist these days is like out of pocket. I haven't seen her in a minute though, miss her. Call in and check up on her, see how she's doing. She's gonna be like, hello? I can talk, girl.
Ken, welcome to The Squeeze.
Hello, thank you for having me.
We were just talking about the river in Austin and how it's probably a no-go.
Yeah, it's a no-go. It's just too many moving parts. Yeah. I would like to do it someday.
Yeah.
And like decide I'm going to do it, but I just know that if I do it, that's probably going to be the first and the last time. So it better be good. I have to go in there with a good mindset.
Well, now that I'm thinking about it, do people swim in it?
That
or
I don't
is it
know.
just a float?
I feel like it's more of just a floating situation.
But then you would want to float when it's like hot and sticky, but then you wouldn't be able to get in the water.
But also I feel like with some of the water in Austin, because it's so hot.
Yeah.
The water is warm. Like I know like in the lakes and stuff like that, like a lot of the time the lake water is not super, it's not refreshing. Like if you go in like, especially the prime of summer, you go to the lake and you jump in and you're like, oh my gosh, this was like bath water.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not good.
Okay. Yeah, no. Fun. Okay, well, welcome. We start each episode off with this jar. We have a little game called Citrus Got Real. If you want to pull a little piece of paper out of there.
Sweet.
Many to choose from.
Favorite restaurant in Los Angeles or wherever you live? Okay, I'm not in Los Angeles, so in Austin, I would say as of late, it's been Uchiba. I'm like, I just discovered sushi recently. Like, no, like I just started trying it.
Okay.
I would not eat sushi for the longest. I just grew up, I feel like in the middle of nowhere in Pennsylvania. That just wasn't a common dish or anything like that.
Yeah.
And so I always grew up super scared of trying anything new. And I've been a picky eater. And just within this last year, I've been really going out on a limb and trying new things. And so I've been like, one thing about me, when I try something and I like it, I become obsessed with it. And I need to eat it every day, all the time. It's on my mind, thinks about. Like I truly get like obsessive with things. And for me, it's been sushi for sure. Specifically hama chili from there. It's like the best thing ever.
Were you like just full send with all of the raw fish, or were you like...
I'm still trying to figure out where I stand with raw fish. Like there's some things where I'm like, okay, yeah, easy, I'll try that. But then there's like stuff for some reason like scallops. Anytime there's anything with scallops.
I feel like scallops a little hard. If it's cooked, I prefer them cooked. You can eat them raw, but I don't really like it raw. It's like a texture thing.
Yeah, and that's for me. It's always a texture thing for me. And I feel like I always have to be a little bit tipsy before I try something new. I feel like that's always like my introduction is, okay, I've had a drink or two and I'm starving. And this, like, it was the same thing with oysters. I went through this huge oyster phase last year where like all I would eat was oysters. I never had one up until last year. Finally had one. Next thing you know, I'm like, I need to have my hands on this every single day. Like, how do I get oysters?
I had that same phase because again, I'm like a texture girly, so I was just like, I'm not even gonna try. I've always liked sushi, but I was like, this just grosses me out, so I'm not going to. And then at our wedding, we were serving, like, during the cocktail hour, they were doing, like, past, like, oysters.
That's my dream. Seriously, that's my dream.
I was like, when we did our full, like, tasting, the caterer, like, brought it out, and they were like, this is an option. And I was like, okay, if this is gonna be served at my wedding, like, I need to try it. Yeah. And I tried it. It was literally the best thing ever. And then I was hooked. Like, I'm, like, chucking them left and right.
For me, it's all about like, I feel like the mignonette is like the big part of oysters for me. Yeah. And I feel like I just use the oyster as a vessel to like, I love vinegar. Like I could chug vinegar. I love vinegar.
The oyster is the vinegar vessel.
Yes. And that's how I get it in me in a way of being like, okay, this is like tame enough where I can, do it. And I'm not just like, because I could like sit there and actually drink vinegar. Yeah. So that's like my little vehicle to get it into my mouth in like an appropriate manner. That and horseradish. I don't really mess with the cocktail sauce though.
Yeah. I can't do you like a lot of horseradish?
It depends.
My husband loves it. Like he like wants his nose to like burn.
When you feel, I will never forget the first time I ever, I think that with oysters was the first time I ever had horseradish, and like that feeling in my nose where it felt like everything was like exploding up my sinuses. It was a weirdly addicting feeling where I'm like, I hate this, but like I feel like it just cleared me out. And there's some
It's like
place,
a high.
It's like a high, literally. And I've realized though, there's two different types of horseradishes. There's like the fresh stuff that's like shaved, and it's not usually that strong.
Yeah.
But then I feel like the stuff that's like I don't even know what it is like that's the stronger stuff. That's where I can only take a little bit of it.
Yeah. That's how, I feel like that's how wasabi is too, honestly.
See, I still haven't really tested wasabi.
Fresh, like shaved wasabi. Like I can do that on sushi, but I don't like it when it's like the paste.
The green paste.
It kind of scares me. When I was a kid, I told my girlfriend that was like a mint dessert and she put the whole thing in her mouth. I don't know why. I'm literally just actually having that revelation. I forgot I did that. I was probably like 10 and a couple of my like, I'm still friends with them today, but I told one of them it was like a mint or like a
You're like,
green
that still
tea.
haunts me. Sometimes it happens though, where you think about things that you said or did as a kid and you're like, oh, that actually makes me cringe or like haunts me in a weird
I thought
way.
It was the funniest thing.
We had this like garage above our house growing up, and I have no recollection of ever saying this, but my friends have convinced me that I claimed that like we used to live in the garage, like up above my house, and I used to apparently tell them like, oh no, I live there, like we fully live there. And then one day they came to my house and asked my parents. My parents like, we never, and I'm like, I never said that. Apparently I did. That's what they
So
said.
you're setting the record straight.
So I'm
today.
setting the record straight that I never lived in that garage, and if I did say that, I was a little liar. Okay.
Oh my gosh. So born and raised in Pennsylvania.
Yes.
Small town. What
Very
was
small
that like
town.
growing up?
Honestly, I feel like when you don't know anything different, I feel like now I have a lot of feelings about it. But at the time, I was just, when you're younger, you kind of assume everybody's life looks like yours. And I think that's a big revelation I've had, especially with like family life lately. As you grow up, you think that everyone has the same family situation as you, and their home life is the exact same. And then you get older and you're like, oh, wow, like we all have very different lives growing up. And it's so weird how when you're younger, you just think everyone's the same. And I think being in a small town, that really, you just feel like everyone has the same life, because now in Austin, like I'm exposed to so much and so many different people. And back home, I feel like nothing really ever changes back home, which is very great. When I go home, I'm like, oh my God, nothing ever changes. I feel like I come home and everything is just how I left it. And I definitely would like to go back eventually. I think I could like raising my kids in a situation like that. But then there's also that fear of everybody. It's kind of scary when everyone has that same mindset. And I think that's the only thing that kind of holds me back of being there, is I feel like now I've been exposed to so much that I have so many views and so many beliefs that I just didn't have growing up, which is a great thing. And I feel like if you raise your kids with that, it's a whole different conversation, and that's, great. But no, I mean,
What made you want to move from there, or why did you?
I never really had like a college experience at all. Like I went from living in Pennsylvania with my family and then doing community college there. And then 2 years into community college, when it was time for me to transfer, I was about to transfer to like a college 45 minutes away. Yeah. And I did end up transferring and lived there for like 6 months, but I ended up dropping out of school as soon as before it even started. And so Austin was my first like big girl move. Yeah. And it was a very manageable city to me, because I feel like other places you go and they're so big and there's so much. I kind of had known a couple of people in Austin, and it was very digestible, right? Like Austin's a huge city, but it feels so small. Like the second you get there, you start to really meet people and you're like, oh my gosh, now it's like you can't escape it. It's very incestual. And now I feel like after being there for 3.5 years, I'm like, all right, I know too much. Like now I need to go. I actually do think I need to move soon, but it was a really great transition city from going from like small town to like, that was my first big city. Yeah. And now it's starting to feel small, and I'm like, okay, what's the next step?
Yeah. So did you move just because you were like wanting something different, or was like social media starting to take off, and is that why you moved?
Social media definitely, I think, was like the main reason behind that, because the only reason I'd been to Austin like 3 times before moving there. And I feel like that's what everyone always says. Like they've only gone a couple of times and then they just decide like, I need to be here. I want to move here right now. Yeah. And I feel like, it was super young. Every time I'd visited, it just seemed like it was like the most post-grad place everyone could go. And it kind of gave me that college feeling almost that I didn't really ever get. But I had some friends who kind of were in the social media space, and I feel like compared to where I grew up, everyone is very traditional. Yeah. And the idea of like even doing what I was doing, I feel like my parents didn't really understand it. No one really believed in it. And I think I kind of met a group of people that were all either young entrepreneurs or people who were in the social media space. And it kind of just changed my entire outlook on everything. And I was like, wait, I can do this. And this is very inspiring. And it was kind of one of those things that, like when people give you advice, sometimes you have to really take a step back and be like, why am I taking advice from these specific, like, do I want a life that's like these people? Like, I love my parents and they're amazing, but I think they had a very old-fashioned look on things and were like, no, you need to go to school and you need to do this, and that's the only way to be successful.
Yeah.
And I kind of took a step back and I was like, but wait, nobody here is doing anything that I want to do.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't really where I feel like I should be taking all of my advice from right now. Like, knowing what I want to do, I know it's very different from what anyone here has done or wants to do.
Yeah. Was what you wanted to do social media, or is there something else that you like are dreaming of or were dreaming of?
I think social media has always been like, I grew up in a very digital world. Like, I feel like I was right at that generation of people that were seeing people online turn it into a career. Like, ever since I was so little, I remember like being obsessed with YouTubers. And like, I remember like realizing in high school that a lot of these people were now doing it as jobs, but it still seems super unattainable. And like, okay, that only happens to like the lucky few. And then TikTok happened. And when I realized I could do it, I immediately was like trying to jump on it any way I could and trying to profit off of it and being like, it didn't start off that way kind of. And then once, I feel like once you start getting followers, you're like, wait, I know people make this a living. How do I do this? Like, I need to find the people that can help me make this a living. And I think now I love social media. I'm never going to probably ever stop posting on socials, but I think it would be nice to be able to kind of like move on from that in a way, whether it's, I have this like weird fantasy about acting, but I also know that acting is one of those things where I feel like you have to have like the death of an ego in order to do it.
Yeah.
Because I've tried like just like reading scripts and there's something so embarrassing about doing it. I don't know why. Yeah. I can't shake the embarrassment of like reading a script and like pretending to be someone I'm not. So that's like my goal right now is what I'm trying to do that. But it's a slow process, It's like it does not happen overnight by any means.
Yeah.
I'd been hearing people truly just rave about linen sheets truly forever. And I finally get it because I made the switch to Quince and now I am obsessed. It's the kind of bedding that instantly makes your whole bedroom just feel more pulled together. And I honestly don't know why I waited so long. Quince's linen bedding is everything people say it is. It's light, it's breathable, and soft from day one. Woven with 100% European flax, it's the perfect mix of relax and refine, and it just gets softer with every wash. And the same goes for their ultra plush duvets, quilts, pillows, and shams too. Featuring other premium fabrics like organic cotton, breezy bamboo, and skin nourishing silk, Quince truly has everything you need to level up your bed. The best part about all of this is, like Quince's clothing, their bedding is half the cost of similar brands, which is great because it's more affordable, but you're not sacrificing the quality of your product. I recently got their linen bedding and I feel like it has actually leveled up my space and it just makes my bed and bedroom look more aesthetic, more pleasing. Like, I get so excited to crawl into bed every night and it really helps during those warmer summer nights, keeping me comfortable so that I can sleep through the night. Level up your bedding with Quince. You'll feel the difference right away. Go to quince.com/squeeze for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/squeeze to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/squeeze.
On the note of social media, what's your relationship like with it? Because I know you're like, I feel like you're pretty open and I love like seeing your videos because I feel like you like say my intrusive thoughts out loud. And I'm like, oh, great. It's not just me. But how has that like shift been, especially growing up in a small town and now like, obviously with social media, you're flooded with people's like opinions and things, right. But how has that been for you?
I think at first when you first start doing it and you first kind of start getting those initial negative comments and stuff like that, it's so shocking because especially me sitting at my parents' house, I'm like, you're spending your time like leaving a hate comment. You just are like, I'm such a normal person that I can't believe anyone even cares to give me any sort of hate, but whatever. And it's kind of funny at first, but then it also kind of really angers you because you're like, oh my gosh, you feel the need to explain. I think it's just human nature to be like, you don't know me, right? Like you want to be defensive and tell people and set people straight. And then I think I went through a phase of like really being obsessed with what people think of me, and especially I think once I moved to Austin, there was definitely a switch in my audience. I felt like my audience had been pretty supportive. I would get hate comments here and there and whatever, but I feel like there's this kind of weird thing with social media where people always want the best for you and want you to do better until you do better. And I feel like that's kind of where a lot of people then the hate would start to come from is, oh, she changed or she changed this way or that way. But for me, it was always so odd because I felt like if anything, it was me having more life experience. And I feel like the hate was kind of making me more compassionate. if that makes sense. Like I became a lot softer of a human in my real life. I feel like dealing with hate. I started to give people a lot more opportunity and chances, I feel like, than I ever did before that. So it was actually really great. In a weird way, I'm very thankful for social media and all that it's taught me, because I feel like mentally it's like pushed me so far.
Yeah.
It made me grow up in ways very quickly. But for a long time, I would really like sit on hate and I would really let it eat at me. And even sometimes there's some things now that get to me, but I'm in a place with it where I feel like once something kind of major happens and you kind of hit your big breaking point with hate, and you have to become so sure of who you are.
Yeah.
And I think that's what kind of happened to me. Like I would kind of let hate get to me here and there, and then a big blow up kind of happened where I feel like everyone was trying to tell me who I was. And that's when I feel like you either like sink or swim, right?
Yeah.
And you either like so positive of who you are, and you have to now go in through life being like, no, I know who I am and no one's gonna ever tell me who I'm not.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm at with it right now. Like it doesn't really, it doesn't get to me in the same way that it once did. I think every now and then there's comments or something like that that are kind of push out that defensive-ness in you.
Yeah.
But I also think TikTok has gotten like a really good, I don't know if it's an AI, what it is, but I've been getting a lot of hate comments lately. And I'm like, I think that TikTok is getting really good at like spotting. I used to be able to go and look into like reviewed comments that people, like the TikTok was like flagging. I don't even have that anymore to like review mean comments. So I'm like, I don't know if TikTok's just really good at like getting hate comments right before I even see them anymore or what it is, but I'm not asking any questions. Sometimes I feel like I get really bad anxiety because I used to like just go off on people all the time and be like, and then I feel like it got to the point where I was just so defensive over everything. Yeah. People would say things that weren't even necessarily hate comments, but my mind was so set on everyone hates me. It's so weird how social media changes your perception too. Like, I feel like it gave me this weird thing of like self-importance, but not like in a good way. Not like I'm so important, people care about me. More of when you have, I feel like especially with like the rise of places like Reddit and all these things where people gather to just like talk about you and talk about every single thing that you do, it's hard to almost not put yourself in a mindset of like, wait, everything I do, someone's looking at and someone's making comments on. And I do feel like I'm under a microscope, not in a good way, in a bad way. And then like when you go out in public, I kind of have this weird thing on my mind of like, I'm constantly being perceived when that's probably not even the truth. But I feel like sometimes hate makes you think that everyone's constantly like, oh, she's doing this or she's doing that, and is being overly judgmental, when in real life that's not true. It's a very small amount of people that are sitting online doing it, and it's not really the people in real life.
Yeah. And I think the more you like, not ignore it, but ignore it too is so, like I have never been on Reddit and I refuse to go on Reddit.
No,
and
don't do it.
My girlfriend who is an influencer, she will check it every so often. And I'm like, no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do it. We're not going to do it.
I still remember like whenever I first discovered, like I even had one, because I will never forget like the day. I remember like sitting and being like, oh my God, somebody made a Reddit about me. And I remember like that day, like scrolling and like doing the refresh because people were just posting and posting and posting. And then honestly, after that, I haven't looked at it since. There's been times when like things have happened in my personal life where like people around me have checked it because we knew that stuff would be posted on there or this and that. But for the most part, I've had a very healthy relationship, because it is like an addiction. Like I know a lot of people, they get so addicted to reading things about themselves and they want to fix it. I just feel like it's a never ending game. When you do that, it's like and then people, it's a crazy mind game.
So is it like, it's kind of like Twitter, but this is literally, I don't
really
dumb.
get what it is, to be honest with you. I think it's people just kind of make pages.
People just feel like going on there and like,
and then they just talk shit.
So like,
essentially.
You don't like follow anyone.
No. Well, I don't know if you follow people. I think you can follow. You can follow pages. I think you can follow pages.
Okay.
And like people can like subscribe, I think, to like pages.
Okay.
So like if someone like makes a page, someone can subscribe to that.
Okay.
And then get in on that and whatever. But I feel like too now we're reached a point where it's like there was a time and place for it, and I think that like the Reddit stuff was thriving, and everyone took it as like Bible, anything that was like being said on there, and that's where it got really scary. I think for a minute was, oh my God, people are just like saying like, I remember like at one point there was rumors that my dog ate my cat. Like it was like some wild shit. No, because it's insane. It's insane. I have like pit bulls too, so like that actually obviously upset me so bad because like pit bulls already get such a bad rep. Yeah, and the fact that people just make up crazy conclusions like that, and people take that as fact of, well, I read it on there and that must be true. But I think now we're getting to the point where at first it started off as this thing people would go to as kind of like kind of gossipy, and then it went from just like gossipy to straight up, I feel like, lies and people on like rampages of hating people and just so nitpicky.
Yeah.
That a lot of the people in these communities, I started to feel like, we're like, this is so out of control. Okay. Like this person cannot win. Like, this is so unfair. You know, if you're just constantly being like, this person's ugly, or those aren't valid criticisms in any way. Or so I think now I truly feel like the whole Reddit thing is dying down. Maybe it's just I don't hear about it.
Yeah.
A lot is, I feel like in like 2022 when it first started, my page first happened, I heard about it constantly, and people would, you know, try to scare me and DM me and be like, you need to go check out. And I'd be like, no, I don't want to see it. I don't want to know about it. And I think now we're having like more online awareness of like, it's a lot of BS.
And thank God, because what you said is so true. Like, we have to remember, like, you could literally like go on and like say anything you want on social media. And because I don't know if it's because when we were like brought up, like just having like Google and like the answer, like we were able to find the answer. So now people think that with social media, them finding the answer, like there was like I don't know the stat, but I think it was last year or the year before. I mean, it's probably still the same, but like our generation goes to TikTok to find the answer rather than Google.
For sure.
And like you can,
I even catch myself doing it sometimes where I'm like looking something up. Like I was trying to last night in bed, I was like looking up these rings and I was looking them up on TikTok instead of just like looking at Google and seeing people's reviews on Google. I was like trying to see TikTok if people were like making videos about this ring and bracelet because I wanted to buy them. And I was like, I need to see the review. And I went immediately to TikTok, and I had this like crazy experience actually the other week that I feel like also made me have like this like big whoa moment about Reddit and all that type of stuff. Like I was getting a tarot card reading, so random, in New Orleans on like the side of Bourbon Street. I'm not even kidding, like random as hell. And the girl who was giving me this reading, she was just like super nice. She was like an older woman, probably like in her 60s, very negative, very just like, and we end up getting in this conversation and we start talking about Ink Masters. Somehow the show Ink Masters gets brought up. So random. She starts going in detail about how she's on the Reddit account and she's talking all this shit about these people that were, and I'm hearing this as like a bystander, and I'm just looking at her like, you sound insane right now. Like she's going on about this person didn't deserve to win, and I'll get on Reddit and people and I'm like, oh my God, you are the type of person that is probably writing about me right now, and I'm like, you cannot take this seriously. Like this girl was getting so, I'm like, why is this like emotional for you? Yeah. This Ink Master show has gone to the point where it's so emotional for you that I can't even, I'm like, is this what people are doing when they're on my page? Like they're getting so worked up. Like seeing this in real life made me be like, this was like I just touched grass in that way. I was like, oh my God, I was like, I'm not, it'd be a bigger fish to fry. Like it's never that serious. If these are the people that are like getting so upset about me and getting so worked up, I can live with it. Yeah. I think it's okay.
It's so true. It's such a good reminder.
I was like, I can't believe this is real right now. Like it put things into perspective for me that I was like, oh, because I think in your mind, like it's because everything's so anonymous. You're like, it could be anybody and it could be, and then the truth is it's like, and I think when you realize that none of these people, I mean, they care, but I feel like they don't really care that much. You know what I mean? Like this is pure entertainment for them. I feel like I also had to put myself in, because sometimes I find myself in like celebrity gossip or like watching videos about straight up gossip that is definitely not true and it's just like hearsay. And then I have to like take a step back and be like, girl, what are you watching right now? Like, you know, but I think it's also having the awareness of like reading something and being like, okay, this could be true, but this could be also completely made up. I feel like we've kind of lost that. Yeah. I don't even know what the word is, like literacy, like media literacy almost, like reading stuff. I feel like it got to a scary point where everyone just thought everything they read was true.
Yeah. Yeah. And even I was talking with someone, they were like, I've never like met a happy person that has left like a negative comment. Like I would never like comment about someone's looks or like their character or anything. So if someone's going to do that, I know that they're not a happy person.
No, and it's like, if you want to talk shit that bad, send it to your friends. Like, if you don't have a friend to send it to, if you really, like, if it is killing you, like, you feel like you need to, why can't you just send a link to your friend and, like, say something to your friend? It just gives me the vibe of, like, you don't have anyone to talk to about it, and it actually kind of makes me sad that I'm like, you don't even have anyone to talk shit to if you really want to. You can't even send it to a friend and be like, this girl's annoying me, this girl's this or that. Like,
Anna Sitar she tells me like they just want to be like involved. Like it's people.
It's a validating thing.
People just want to be like involved in what's going on. So like they leave a comment so that they can like be involved.
I feel like it's a huge form of validation for a lot of people. Yeah, where it's like, I don't know why. I feel like, because if you have these feelings or whatever, you should be okay with like sitting with you see a video. If I ever see a video that bothers me, scroll. I don't need to like be giving out all of my opinions and emotions, but I think that it's like this weird addiction to having people validate you and tell you like, oh no, I agree with you. And then people kind of get on this like powerful high horse of like, see, people agree with me and I hold power now because people agree with me. And it's kind of, it's bizarre.
If you've been wanting to make your workouts more consistent, more effective, and a lot more convenient, Tonal might be exactly what you've been looking for. Tonal is an all-in-one smart strength training system that brings the experience of a professional gym and a personal trainer straight into your home. It replaces bulky weights and equipment with digital resistance that automatically adjusts to you in real time. So whether you're doing a quick warm-up, a strength session, or a full body workout, Tonal meets you exactly where you're at. The best part, you don't have to guess your form, your reps, or your weight. Tonal does it for you. The built-in technology tracks your movement, provides instant feedback, and automatically increases or decreases the weight to match your progress. It's like having a coach there guiding you through every move, making sure you're working hard but smart. Tonal offers hundreds of programs and workouts designed by professional coaches, covering everything from strength and endurance to yoga, Pilates, and mobility. It's also designed to fit seamlessly into your home. It's sleek, wall-mounted, and compact, so it doesn't take up any extra space. And the app experience makes it so easy to track your progress, set goals, and actually see how much stronger you're getting over time. So if you've been thinking about upgrading your fitness routine or creating a more consistent habit for home, this is your sign to check out Tonal. And right now, Tonal is offering our listeners $200 off your Tonal purchase with promo code SQUEEZE. That's Tonal.com and use promo code SQUEEZE for $200 off your purchase. That's Tonal.com, promo code SQUEEZE for $200 off. You guys know how much I love my dogs because they're not just pets, they're family. And they make bad days better, good days even brighter, and honestly, they deserve the same kind of love and care that we give ourselves. Every dog has their own little personality, from the ones that bolt to the door the second they hear the word walk, to the ones that somehow know exactly when you need a cuddle. That bond is truly so special, and it makes you want to give them the absolute best, especially when it comes to their health. That's where Ollie comes in. Ollie offers fresh, protein-packed meals made with real human ingredients, food that truly supports your dog's health and happiness. Every plan is tailored to your dog's specific needs with perfectly portioned meals and a mess-free packaging. It even comes with a scoop-free, easy serving, and special storage pup-tainer to keep your fridge fresh and odor-free. Ollie has this really cool app where you can access on-demand health screening and get expert insights for peace of mind. They even use real data from their pack to keep improving recipes and developing new ways to support your dog's well-being. You guys know that Lily is kind of like our house cat. She doesn't really get excited for things. I have had to force her to eat her kibble in the past, but with Ollie, she is so excited for mealtime. Your dog's well-being starts with their food, and that's why Ollie delivers fresh, human-grade food that your dog will love. Head to ollie.com/squeeze, tell them about your dog, and use code SQUEEZE to get 60% off your welcome kit when you subscribe today. Plus, they offer a happiness guarantee on the first box, so if you're not completely satisfied, you'll get your money back. That's ollie.com/squeeze and enter code SQUEEZE to get 60% off your first box. When it comes to working out, variety is everything. Some days you want a long run to clear your head. Other days you want a slower Pilates or yoga flow to just feel good. And sometimes you need something completely different to keep things fresh. It's all about finding a routine that actually keeps you motivated, not bored. Peloton is shaping the future of fitness with the brand new Peloton Cross Training Tread Plus, powered by Peloton IQ. This is Peloton's most advanced piece of equipment yet, designed to make every single workout feel personalized and dynamic. Whether you're working out solo or with your favorite instructor, there are endless ways to move. It's truly built for anyone who likes to mix things up. You can run, lift, sculpt, and stretch all in one place, while the Tread Plus handles the rest. And here's the most exciting feature. Peloton IQ provides real-time strength coaching. It tracks your progress, recommends weights that push you to the next level, and movement tracking camera even counts your reps and helps you perfect your form as you go. It's like having a personal trainer right there. The swivel screen is another game changer. You can move from a run on the Tread Plus to a yoga flow, Pilates, or strength session off of it with just one smooth turn. It keeps your workouts seamless so your routine never feels repetitive.
Plus, Peloton IQ builds customized training plans based on your mood, energy, and goals, giving you weekly class recommendations that truly fit your lifestyle. If you've been looking for something to reignite your motivation, this is definitely it. Let yourself run, lift, sculpt, push, and go. Explore the new Peloton Cross Training Tread Plus at onepeloton.com. How have you learned to like set boundaries with social media? Like how do you decide what you want to share and not? Because I feel like you're pretty like open about life and what you have going on.
Definitely open. I think that it's been a lot of trial and error though for me. Like, I think I grew up watching a lot of people like Tana Mojo who were just very much themselves. And that was like a huge part of like when I was kind of starting my content, I was like, well, I'm very much me and I have no problem being me. And that like was the forefront of all of my content was just being very open. And that was great. It helped me really build a community. But I think then you kind of get in this unhealthy place with people where it's all fun and games sharing and, you know, letting people in on your life until you realize there's this like weird switch that happens where people then feel like they know you to an extent of like they get so parasocial and then they just then start making assumptions after assumptions after assumptions. And I feel like that's when it started to get dangerous and just overall bad for my mental health. Yeah. In moments like that. And I feel like there was a huge phase for like 2022 to like 2024, honestly, 2023, 2024. And where I was like struggling so much with like, what do I share? What do I not share? Because I'm trying to set these weird boundaries, but also do people even have interest in me if I'm not overexposing my life? Because that was a huge thing that started all of my content. That was a huge, you know, that's what made me online was being me and oversharing. And now I think I've gotten to this place where I want to protect myself and I want to protect the people that I love, that I feel like have slip ups of sometimes I share things and I'm like, oh, why did I share that? Like that was too much. But I think just setting that healthy boundary of like, you know, I can't give people as much because it kind of turns into ammunition. You kind of just start handing people ammunition, and for the people that like you and then they turn on you one day and they know all this stuff about you and then they think they can make all these assumptions about you, or you're giving all of your information to like the people that it genuinely does not. They don't need to know it. Yeah. And I think that's where I'm at right now with trying to like decide. And I've gotten a lot better at it, but I would be lying if I said there's definitely not days still where I'm like, ugh, I post stuff and I'm like, why did I say that? Why did I post that?
Yeah. Do you film something and then post it right away, or do you film it and then like save it?
No, I post it right away. And that's also like my, no, like I film it and it's posted. Like there's never any looking back. There's never, oh, I'm sitting on this video, I don't know if I should put, no, it's like post it and then you find out by the comments sometimes where you're like, okay, maybe I jumped the gun on that. Maybe I should have thought about that.
Yeah. Great. Then maybe we just save it in the draft for like 24 hours. Yeah. Think about it.
But with me, it's like an energy thing. Yeah. It's like, oh my God, like I'm feeling the vibe. Like with all my content, it's all like, unless it's like obviously like branded content that needs to be approved and all that stuff. All of my like organic content is filmed, posted. Yeah. Like unless it's like a draft and I'll acknowledge like this is a draft, but no, it's like it's an energy thing of like I feel this high of like let's just do it, like let's just get it up there, let's post it, and then that's when I get in trouble. Yeah.
You mentioned your mental health kind of struggling with social media. What was going on during that time?
I think a lot of it was just having like a lot of people's opinions about me and my life, and especially being so open on social media and giving people so much stuff to work with. Yeah. Had me really questioning like who I was, and not even realizing that's what I was doing during that time. But now it's kind of more clear of like that's what was really going on, was I didn't know who I necessarily was because I had so many people. Like I thought I knew, and I feel like since I came out of my mother's womb, I've been someone who like, I know who I am. There's no question about that. Then being on socials, you know, you kind of have all these people telling you who you are, who you're not, and it really does make you question yourself in so many different ways that you don't even realize you're questioning yourself. Yeah. And I think when I look back to that time where I was like really struggling with all of that, it was because I had so many people shoving things down my throat and telling me who I was, and me not knowing, thinking I know, and then kind of being like, well, these people, a lot of comments are saying this, so they are probably right. And I don't think it was until that like first like big blow up where I feel like people were really coming at me that I had to be like, okay, I know this isn't true about myself, and I can either keep on listening to these people and trying to defend myself, or just being okay with what I know and moving forward. And I think that's how a lot of now my social media, you know, mental health thing has been, is just being so sure of who I am, and also seeing like therapists. I talked to therapists at a talk therapist, which was really great for me because she put a lot of things in perspective and a lot of just like go touch grass basically without saying go touch grass, like being like, you have to look at it like it's an art project or like you're an artist and just be like, you have to separate yourself from the art. And for some reason hearing that was like major to me, being like, she's like, you post these like 30 seconds, 60, whether you talk and you're very open about your life or not, like these people do not know you and nobody will ever know you except for the people in your real life. And you just need to separate that. Yeah. And that was huge. And I did get on medication for a minute. I was on Lexapro and I had a whole journey with, being medicated. I feel like during 2022, it was like a lot was happening at once. Like I had this hacker that got into my Snapchat and posted photos of me online. And that was like a whole thing. Yeah, no, that was like a whole thing. And he would like randomly, I was like getting anonymous text messages and I knew it was him. Like he would always just like come back around randomly. Like I'll never forget like the day I got logged into my Snapchat and I immediately got text being like, Kennedy. And I was like, no, this isn't her. And then it was immediately just like photos of me and I was like, I'll post these everywhere. And then they did. And it was one of those things also where you kind of have to just like come to terms with you can't give people power. I think a lot of it comes from like, you just can't give people power. And that was I made that switch actually very quick to not giving him power. But I think when he would come back around and just like anonymously text me being like, hi, and I would always know it was him. That like always had me in like a constant state of like just not even feeling safe in my home or anything like that. And then that's 2022 was kind of when that was going on. And then the whole Reddit stuff, I think that's whenever like Reddit was really like a big thriving thing and everyone kind of had this fear of Reddit. I don't feel like it is as fearful as it was back then, but at the time it was definitely a scary thing. And I remember going into, it was actually a gynecologist appointment. It was so random. And I had to fill out on the paper, like, how you're feeling on a scale from 1 to 10. And, I did all of that. And I remember she came into the room and was like, okay, so we're actually not doing your checkup today at all. like your answers were like very concerning and we need to like come up with like a different plan. And I was like, wait, really? Which like, no, it really wasn't that surprising now looking back at it because like I was definitely down bad. And she put me on Lexapro, which I know a lot of people have like mixed feelings about a gynecologist, but I'm going to be honest, my gynecologist was like, the only professional I've ever talked to who I feel like really cared about my health and mental health and just overall well-being. Like she really was all about women's health in general. Yeah. More than like I went and ended up seeing like a psychiatrist after that. And I feel like it was very much like okay, go, you're medicated, go. They didn't really care about me. Whereas like she sat and she listened to me and put me on Lexapro. And that ended up being, I remember the first night that I was on Lexapro, it was the weirdest experience. I felt so out of it. And like, I never really had like thoughts of wanting to harm myself. I just had such bad anxiety that I think it was like this cloud that was just over me and I couldn't sleep, but I also, all I wanted to do was sleep. It was, it was mostly of an anxiety thing. And I remember though, like feeling this weird feeling of like, oh my God, like I want to crawl out of my own skin. Like I was going absolutely nuts my first night on Lexapro. And eventually I got used to it, which I feel like that should have been a red flag that if I felt that terribly, but they said you're going to feel weird and whatever. And it was great for a while. And then it slowly turned into this, like, I'm so numb that nothing affects me. Yeah. Like, I don't care about anything. You could say anything you wanted and I'd be like, okay. Yeah. And it got to the point where I feel like, my manager was like, one day was like, listen, I can't keep working with you if we don't figure this out. Like, this is like, we can't get worked, we can't do anything. So I went back, I got put on Wellbutrin with it and like kind of did like a little like cocktail thing. Yeah. Once again, that made me feel so much better for a little bit and then kind of came back down and went back into that numbing and then ended up going on Zoloft for a little bit and dropping the Lexapro. And that was probably my best option that I had with my medication. But then I just felt like I was really I just didn't feel like me. Yeah. I feel like everything kind of eventually was coming back into that gray area. And maybe once again, that just wasn't the right medication. Yeah. But I've been off medication now for like probably almost a year, coming up maybe like 8-9 months. And there was this really weird feeling when I first got off of it, like a month or two off of it, where I was like, all my human emotion was kind of coming back again. And I would just like find myself crying my eyes out in the car being like, wait, this is kind of amazing though. Like it was the first time in like a year where I had emotion, And I was like, wait, there's something kind of, and don't get me wrong, medication is so great. And I think it's one of those things that like, for sure, that especially mixed with therapy, like everybody is so different. And I think that's like what the huge thing is like, you just have to do things that work for you and try things out. And it's a very personal thing. And I think medication was a great Band-Aid for me. And I think I really needed it, especially when I first got on it. Like I was so bad that was the only thing that really helped me like get up and be a human again. Yeah. But I think after a while, it wasn't really the best fit for me. And getting off of it was like this huge like, oh my God, like, I like having emotion, like when I remember first feeling anxiety again and being like, I'm actually thankful to feel this tiny little bit of anxiety, and to be able to have these feelings and evoke such like an emotional response. But I definitely had times lately where I'm like, wait, am I getting kind of too anxious again? Where I'm like thinking about possibly getting back on medication and whatever. It's just a whole journey, you know? And I think that's like the big thing with all of that is it's a journey.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. That's like, I love hearing, like, there's just so many different stories. Like it's the same thing as therapy. I feel like with medication, like sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it's good for a little bit. Sometimes it's good long-term. Sometimes like which I think is what kind of like makes it scary for people is there isn't like a cookie cutter answer.
And then you hear horror stories.
Yeah.
People get online and they're like, this one made me gain weight and made me this and made me that. And it's hard to kind of shut that out whenever you first get on a medication.
Yeah.
You're like trying to do all the research you can. And then if you keep on seeing all these like negative videos, but then also you probably see people being like, this is the best thing that's ever happened to me. Like that I think is the scariest part of if I ever get on a medication again is diving into like, it's hard to like go through that process. And it was really hard getting off, like Lexapro, especially getting off of it. I was so ill. Getting off of it made me sick. I was going to
ask how that was.
Getting off Zoloft, I was honestly pretty okay. But the Lexapro made me, I will never forget, like I was so out of my like sorts. And I remember just being like, I couldn't even get out of bed because my head was I was like so out of body with it that I remember being like, I never want to take medication again. Like this really freaked me out. But I think it's just something you have to really commit to, right? Like, you know, fixing your mental health is not going to be, and I've been doing a lot of like exercising kind of lately. And I think that's been huge for me. I was never an exercise girl ever. Like I did sports in high school and stuff like that. But after that, I was never like seeking out any exercise. And now that I've kind of been getting into routines and just going for walks, it sucks to do. And especially like when you're like anxious or depressed, you don't want to, you're right. You're like, I don't want to stay in bed all day, but pushing myself to do that has had such a like good impact on my mental. Like I think that's a huge thing too, is just like, even in moments where I feel like I'm not feeling grateful, I've made it kind of a habit to like go into my journal. And even on days where I'm not feeling grateful I'm not feeling that, I always just like write down I'm grateful and things that I'm grateful for. And it does kind of help my mind. I feel like slowly over time, just overall have like just more gratitude.
Yeah. I feel like we talk about it a lot, or it is talked about a lot, like gratitude and whatnot. But I really think practicing it can really shift your
You have
mindset.
to.
That's so important.
And I feel like that was like a huge thing. Like when I was hitting those like emotional, when I was like crying again and stuff, it was like these weird moments of like gratefulness for like, I don't even know what. It would just be random things. And I'd be like, I'm so grateful for this, or I'm so grateful for that.
Yeah. No, my girlfriend, she cries all the time and she's like, at least I have emotion. I'm like, you're not wrong.
No, you're not wrong. Because honestly, like there was a long time where I didn't have it. And I was like, oh my God, the things I would do to just be able to like bawl my eyes out right now, or like feel sad or feel anything other than just like numb, I would kill for that.
Yeah. I love that it was your gynecologist. My gynecologist is like very similar. She's the best. I love her, and she like really cares about women's health as a whole. But I think that's important what you said, because I think oftentimes psychiatrists are so quick to prescribe a medication, and I'm all for medication. I have a background in nursing, and so I'm all for it. But I do think it's really important to talk with a therapist and talk with someone, so like you can actually figure out what's going on. Yeah. And properly treat it. Because I feel like sometimes the psychiatrists are so quick. That's what they do. They
just do it all day, and
not
they're just
all of them. I know some great ones, but that's
they just kind of, I feel like sometimes get in the groove of doing things. And I remember just being like, oh my God, like, and my gynecologist made sure like to give me recommendations for like therapists, places, whatever, therapy. Like, I don't think she could actually technically give me like recommendations of people, but like there was like, I don't even know what she gave me something that, and she was just like, listen, medication and therapy has been like proved to be one of the better, but you have to do both, right? Like sometimes and you know, that's a whole thing too, like finding the right therapist can be like, I got lucky, mine was pretty good, but you know, I know that can be a whole thing for people too. And that can be so discouraging when you're like talking to someone and you feel like you have no connection with them, or they're not listening to you, or so
I know that's like I'm a big advocate for therapy, because therapy has changed my life, and it is a relationship. You have to find someone that, you know, it's either like maybe you want to talk to, if you're a girl, you want to talk to a girl, or maybe you want to talk to someone that has the same religion or the same whatever it is. You got to like really find like who that is, and then it's like a complete game changer. And there's so many different, like there's BetterHelp, there's Rula, there's like so many different online platforms that make therapy like accessible now. Yeah. That's like my biggest thing, lemon drops. If you're listening, there are so many platforms you can go do it on. Cause that's the biggest thing is, you know, I pay for my therapist out of pocket, and a lot of people can't do that.
No, yeah. That's how I have to pay for my therapist these days, is like out of pocket. I haven't seen her in a minute though. Miss her. Maybe I should give her a call in and check up on her, see how she's doing. She's gonna be like, hello.
She's gonna be like, are you okay?
Who's this? Like, are you good?
When dinner time rolls around and you're standing in front of the fridge wondering what on earth you're going to make, ButcherBox has your back. They deliver high quality, responsibly sourced protein straight to your door, so you can skip the last minute grocery store runs and actually look forward to what's for dinner. For nearly a decade, ButcherBox has led the industry with meat and seafood that's antibiotic-free, hormone-free, and independently verified. Every cut, whether it's a filet, chicken breast, or even kid-friendly nuggets, meets the same incredibly high standards. It's one of those things that just makes life easier. The quality is amazing, and the convenience is what really sets it apart. You can also choose from a variety of boxes: beef, chicken, pork, seafood, or a custom mix, all perfectly portioned and packed for the freezer. Everything arrives frozen solid, so there's always something on hand to cook. It's also nice knowing exactly where your food comes from. ButcherBox partners with trusted farmers and fisheries who raise animals humanely and responsibly. You can actually taste the difference. The beef is thicker, the chicken is juicier, and the salmon is always fresh and flaky. And here's the best part. As an exclusive offer, our listeners get a free protein in every box for a year, plus $20 off your first box when you go to butcherbox.com/squeeze. Go to butcherbox.com/squeeze to get this limited time offer and free shipping always. That's butcherbox.com/squeeze. Don't forget to use our link so that they know that we sent you. There's so much talk about women's hormones, but no one really explains what it actually means or how to support them. When things feel off, whether it's your energy, your focus, your sleep, your mood, it can be so frustrating because you know something's off, but you're not sure where to start. Hormones play such a huge role in how we feel every single day. And when they're not in sync, everything can feel harder than it should. That's where Happy Mammoth comes in. They've built this amazing brand that's all about helping women feel like themselves again, supported, balanced, and comfortable in their own skin. Their supplement, Hormone Harmony, was created by an award-winning German nutrition scientist. It combines 12 powerful adaptogens and herbal ingredients, all backed by science, into one capsule. Each ingredient is there for a reason, to help maintain optimal hormone levels within a normal range and support overall well-being. What I love about Happy Mammoth is how clean and thoughtful their approach really is. There are no GMOs, no artificial fillers, and no unnecessary ingredients. Just quality, plant-based formulas inspired by nature that actually makes a difference. And the reviews say it all. Over 2.5 million women have used Happy Mammoth products to support their hormones and feel like themselves again. If you've been feeling a little off lately, this is such an easy and supportive place to start because it's about feeling in tune with your body again and giving yourself the care that you deserve. For a limited time, you can get 15% off your entire first order at happymammoth.com. Just use code SQUEEZE at checkout. You can try Hormone Harmony risk-free and get 15% off your first order with code SQUEEZE at checkout. I chose Function because it's the only health platform that gives you access to the data most people never see and the tools to actually do something with it. With Function, you can test over 100 biomarkers that cover everything from hormones and inflammation to heart health, stress, toxins, even longevity. And for an added fee, you can also include advanced scans like MRIs and chest CTs, all sorted in one secure dashboard that's easy to understand and tracks your results over time. It's truly a complete picture of what's happening inside of your body. Function is truly changing the way we approach wellness by focusing on prevention instead of reaction. Most of us wait until we're run down or something feels off before seeing a doctor, but Function flips that. It lets you get ahead of what's going on using real personalized data to make smarter health decisions before issues start. Real preparation doesn't start when you already have symptoms. It starts by knowing what your body needs before that, whether that's vitamin D, zinc, ferritin, or inflammation levels, so you can strengthen your immune system and catch imbalances early. It's empowering to finally have that kind of clarity and control over your own health. I use Function. I am a huge advocate and fan of Function, and I totally encourage you guys to check them out. You will not be disappointed.
Learn more and join using my link. Function is a near 360 view to see what's happening in your body. And my first 1,000 listeners get a $100 credit toward their membership. Visit www.functionhealth.com/thesqueeze and use gift code thesqueeze100 as sign up to own your health.
It's always funny though, because I was talking about to my friends about therapy, and one of my friends just started it recently, and she was like, I didn't even think that I really needed it, but I was like, okay, I'm gonna try it out. And she was like, all she did, the first question was like, how are you? And she was like, I just lost it. And I was like, dude, same thing. I feel like that kind of happens to a lot of people, because even though people ask you those questions all the time, there's something about going into a conversation knowing kind of, you're going to be talking about mental health and you're going to be talking about these things. And there'd be random questions that my therapist would ask me that would just evoke so much emotion, because I think you're actually kind of putting yourself in a place to think about it, and you're not just going through it being like, oh yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
You're kind of expected to sit there and talk. And I remember one time they just asked me about my brother or something like that. And I just started crying about my brother. And I was like, I don't know why I'm crying about my brother right now. This is so random. My brother's fine. I'm fine. But it just evokes different things out of you when you really sit down and think about it.
Yeah. It's important to have an unbiased professional opinion. Cause obviously my husband and I have been together for almost 8 years, and we've walked through a lot of mental health stuff together. So we know how to talk to the other, maybe what the other needs when we're struggling. And still, there's things I won't want to share with him that I will more willingly share with my therapist. And I bet he has the same thing too, just because it's I don't want to sound like this to him, or I don't want him to be offended if I say this and he takes it out of context. So it's it's so important to have someone that is
that's been huge in my relationship lately, because my boyfriend grew up with a mom who was a therapist. And so she's very good at communicating, and I feel like he's very good with communicating. And I grew up with a very, my parents just say things, right? There's never been much thought between what my parents say. I have a good relation with my parents, but we're just, I feel very as it just say it, right? Just say it. And I think there's not really much thought that goes behind it. And then when I started dating my boyfriend, it was a huge shift, because I'm someone who I always speak my mind too. And that's just how I was raised. Just speak your mind and say things. And I don't always say things in the best way. And I think, especially someone who's kind of more sensitive with their words and they're careful with what they say. It was shocking at first for him, where he's like, I don't like how you're communicating. I don't know how to take this. And I was like, well, I don't know how, when you communicate to me, it's hard, because I'm just cut to it, right? Just you're beating around the bush too much. Just say what you're feeling. And so I've been trying to definitely find that balance with my relationship right now of being more sensitive to things. Because that's one thing I feel I am not. I am not a very sensitive person. I just say it, and if you don't like it, you don't have to like it. But I think, when you really love someone, you're like, oh my God, I got to change this thing about me, and it's going to be hard, but for everyone's sake, I think it's better.
Yeah. How long have you guys been together?
I think about 5 or 6 months now.
Okay.
So it's still very new, but it's one of those things where it's why do I feel I've known you for so long? I feel I've known him way longer than 5 or 6 months.
That's sweet. Yeah. Were you nervous to share him on social media, or what was that decision like?
I was, but I also wasn't, because it started off in a very odd way compared to most of my other relationships. I feel we kind of started online, me and him, immediately. There was kind of this online thing that happened where he made a video about me, and so it all kind of started out very publicly.
Okay.
And it felt there was kind of nowhere to go from there, other than okay, well, then we started hanging out, and then even our first date was this dating show thing that ended up being recorded and published online.
Okay.
That it was there was really no escaping the
internet.
Yeah,
of it
the
all?
internet of it all. Yeah, people knowing and being, aware of that type of stuff. So it was definitely odd, and it caused, I feel a lot of weird feelings at the beginning of the relationship, just on my end being wait, you never know people's intentions and stuff like that. And it was definitely difficult. And I think now, I'm still trying to navigate, because this is probably one of my more public relationships, especially because he posts me and I post him. But I usually dated guys before who really weren't on social media at all.
Yeah.
So it was always a very one-sided thing. And now having it two ways, and I'm still working through that, and a lot. And it's made me really have to be better. And I'm working on my trust and everything like that. I feel I have a lot of trauma from past relationships, and it's really hard not to let that get in the way of your new stuff, and people necessarily haven't been the most trustworthy, and you're you always want to jump and and I think having just people be able to be in my business like that is something I'm still kind of getting used to. And people are you realize it happens to everybody that's public, or you have to face these things, and I'm getting used to that.
Yeah. How do you guys have you had any conversations with setting boundaries of what you share online about your relationship?
I feel like there has been times where we've like, well, definitely there's been situations. There's definitely been situations where I think to him too, because like the whole social media thing is so new to him, kind of.
Yeah.
That we've had to have talks of like, I've been doing this for a minute now, so I kind of know how things are going to be perceived, and I think I kind of have this whole other viewpoint of things.
Yeah.
And I don't get me wrong, I still miss and I still post things that I'm like, oh my God, I should have done that. But I think with him, it's been a whole learning curve, and you know, he's definitely had to get used to social media, and that it's a whole other game, kind of, in a weird way.
Yeah, it's a learning curve. What's one thing that people like would be surprised about your relationship? Like, what's one thing people maybe you think they assume or maybe don't know?
I think that he's like the soft one. I don't know if people would think that he was more of the soft one. I mean, I'm kind of have like this aggressive tone about me, so I feel like that's kind of believable. But I feel like, I don't know, I feel like he's always like the one who's just like very sensitive, and he's very like considerate. He's a very considerate person, and I feel like that's where I sometimes miss out on. Like, I'm considerate in my own ways, but overall it's something I think I could work on, and I don't think people would expect him to be as like soft and as sweet as he really is.
That's sweet. I love watching you guys. Your videos are cute. Okay, I have a little fun segment for us to do.
Let's do it.
Just a few questions. So it's called Tea Time with Tay. We actually haven't done it in a while, but we have some questions that people have just, as I hit my mic, have written in, and advice or your opinion, and I will share mine. But the first one is, do you believe in love at first sight, or do you think that grows over time?
For me, it's always been like one of those things that grow over time. I feel like anytime I've met someone and I think it's like love at first sight, I think it kind of like goes and it comes and goes very quickly, for me at least.
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes with boys, I don't know, I feel like I always see these videos of like old couples being like, they ask them and like women are like, oh no, I did not like him at first. And the men are like, oh no, I knew immediately. I think sometimes that can come at play. And I feel like even with my relationship now, it's so funny because I was very much against my relationship this was the most I've ever been against a relationship in the beginning, where I was like, I just don't know. We kept on hanging out and I was like, I just like, don't know if I like him like that. Like, I like him enough to keep hanging out with him, but I just don't know. And then out of nowhere, it like hit me like a truck. And then ever since then, I feel like I've only gradually liked him more and more.
Yeah.
And that was really rare because I feel like in a lot of my relationships, it's been the complete opposite, where like a lot of that comes at the beginning. And then the more you get to know someone, the more I'm kind of like, oh, okay. Like, I don't really know if we're a match, we're this and that. And I feel like with him, it's like, it was a slow burn for sure. And it built up. And now I'm like, oh my God, like every day there's something new about you that I learn, but it's like always in a positive.
Yeah.
It's always positive.
I know. I feel like I was kind of the same. Like I maybe I was just like in denial that like, cause my husband's sister introduced us, but she didn't introduce us to date. Well, he thought that basically she brought me over to his house for a game night and was like, I'm bringing a girl that I think you're going to like. But I was just going like as a friend.
You're like, I'm just trying to hang out.
I had no clue of the setup, but he knew. So he was like trying to talk to me, and like for a couple weeks, like he had followed me on Instagram, and like we were just like chatting, like hanging out, but like never just the two of us, always in like group settings. And my parents were like, my dad actually, he was like, he likes you. And I was like, no, and my dad's never said that. And I was like, Dad, he does not like me. And he was like, no, he likes you.
Trust me.
I'm like, Dad, no, he doesn't. That's no. And he did like me. But it wasn't, I didn't have that same, like I wasn't like, oh my gosh, you're my person. Also,
I feel like the guys kind of know that, like that. I feel like boys kind of from the like, something like happens. And so I was like, why are you still like chasing me? Like I was not really giving him much at all. And I'm like, he's like FaceTiming me to hang out. I'm like, oh my God, get off me for a second. Like, give me some space.
I know. But I love what you said, because I was actually thinking about this, the Taylor song Wish List. Like the fact that I'm 8 years into my relationship and I still like get giddy at the thought of like having children with my husband. Like it's still like, that's like, I feel like that's like the love that you strive for. So like, I feel like we put too much pressure on the love at first sight thing.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I always say it's like the 2-year rule.
I have friends like that put so much pressure on like, they'll go out. And I was always kind of that way too, where I'm like, no, I know myself. Like if I meet someone and it's just like not the vibe, like I know it's not the vibe, and then next. But I think my boyfriend really changed my perception on like all of that, of like, we just kept hanging out and I didn't even know. I think I was at this weird phase of saying yes to everything in my life.
Yeah.
And like he would ask me to do stuff that was like out of my comfort zone a lot. And I would just be like, yeah, I would never actually ever like want to do any of this stuff, but like go paddleboarding and go to like this random country concert that was like far away. It was just so not my vibe. But I was like forcing myself to say yes because I was kind of down in the dumps.
Yeah.
And it ended up turning into this like really beautiful thing. So all my friends, when they were like, no, I went on a date and like, no, I'm not feeling it. I'm like, maybe just give it, give it another try. You never know. You have to stop going into this idea of like, I would know because I also thought that I was like that. And it turns out I actually wasn't.
Yeah. No, that's so true. What's something people should stop doing on first dates? Maybe it's that.
I think being so critical and being like, no, it's not, it's no, I don't like him like that. Or I think you have to give people sometimes a little more chances. And I think something for me personally, like, and I know this, I overshare too much. And to me, it's just me being me. And I struggle with like that idea of like, is this just me being me? Like if it's me being me, there shouldn't be a problem with that.
Yeah.
But then also I look back at like random first dates I've gone on and I've been like, maybe I was too much of myself. And sometimes I feel like people love that. Like a lot of the time I feel like it actually never backfires. Like people love that. But for me, I'm just like, I walk away from it being like, sometimes like I get like anxiety. You know what I mean? Like where I'm like, I should not have been telling them all that information.
Yeah.
What about you?
No, I think it would maybe be that. I mean, I haven't been on a first date in a very long time.
Yeah, you're like, well, for me, it's been about 8 years. So let me think about this. How long have you been married?
We've been married for 3.
Oh, okay.
3. We were together for quite some time.
Yeah.
It took a little bit. But no, I think mine would probably be like to not be like critical of it, because that's the biggest thing I tell my girlfriends. They're like, well, I don't know. I'm like, well, like go on a couple. Like if you enjoyed their company, but you don't know,
right?
Like might as well go.
My friends be like, oh well, yeah, he was cute and he was nice, but I'm like, okay, but what? Like, what do you think that like it's just gonna be? I feel like all of a sudden, and then sometimes when you do feel that way, where you're like, oh my god, I love this guy and I need to go out with him again. Sometimes he doesn't feel the same way. Like the amount of videos that it always drives me so nuts, and I don't know why. I'll see videos of like. I think it's so weird, but I like saw a psychic this one time. Well, a couple times actually. I was consistently seeing the same psychic, like using him. Like his name's Mano. Like I was calling him all the time, and he always is like, "You're like very male. Like you're very masculine. You have a lot of masculine qualities about yourself." And for some reason, I feel like it comes out in your like female relationships or girl relationships where you don't understand. Like there's a lot of things that girls do that you just don't understand, and it's always about like males. And I'm like, okay, like I didn't really get it, and then. I'm like, I think I know what he's talking about, because sometimes when my friends are talking about it, or like I'll see videos of people that were like, they'll go on first dates and they'll be like, and we were just like hitting it off so hard, and then he kind of ghosted, and like we had the best first date ever, and he's not giving me answers, and I'm like, oh, I don't know how to tell you this, but like just because someone can conversate does not mean that was the best first date ever. You know, and I feel like sometimes, especially with women, like women are very good conversationalists, and then when you meet a man who can keep up with you, you can be like, oh my God, it's him. Yeah. He's amazing. And it's like, no, I think you just met a very charming man for once, and like someone who could actually like keep up with you, and now you're thinking like you guys were in love and it was but you only went on one date with this man. Like we need to stop putting so much pressure. Like I have friends that like have a couple like a good date and they're like, no, and he won't text me back and I'm in love, and I'm like, I don't think, because if he felt that way, he'd be texting you too. Okay.
No, for sure. What's your take on texting rules? Who should text first and how soon? Oh my God,
I don't even know. I feel like I'm so bad with my phone in general. Like low-key, a man needs to be blowing me up. Like a man needs to blow me up low-key. Like my boyfriend would like call me randomly at like 2 p.m. and be like, want to go for a walk? I was like, this is so random. Like, why are you He would FaceTime me and like, I would call it a cool call. He'd cold call me all the time, and I'd be like, what are you doing? Like, leave me alone. But that's like why I feel like we hung out so much, because he was like pushing the going out. Like I think if you really want to see someone though, like there's no shame in texting someone. I feel like it's all like an emotional thing. Like it's so up to you. And I truly believe like if it's meant to be, it'll be like, there's really no rules. When it's the right person, there aren't really rules.
Yeah.
But if you're blowing him up all the time and he's not texting you back, it's like, okay, maybe we need to like.
Yeah, I think you can text first and like show interest, because I definitely like sometimes my girlfriends, like the guy will text them after a date and they'll wait like 24 hours to respond. I'm like, why? No, if you enjoyed it and you want to go again, just text him.
Yeah, you shouldn't be thinking about it that deeply. And
no. So I think you can text, but then if you're like texting and then like they're not putting in effort, then you need to put the same effort
you have to
they're doing.
I think it's about balancing it out and being like, okay, like if he's not texting me back, do you really think he's that? No, he's not. So I need to stop letting him take up. And too, when you're keeping space for people, like you'll never find someone. I feel like I have friends that like, there's like these guys that they didn't even like date, or they actually only met a couple of times, but they like save space for them in their minds. And I'm like, guys, we need to stop. This guy's not saving space for you. Yeah. And you're not gonna, they're like, well, I just never met. I just don't think I'll like meet anybody like him again. I'm like, I promise you will when you stop holding space for him.
Yeah. No, it's so true. What's the worst date you've ever been on?
Oh my God, I always feel so bad, but it's always the same answer. I went on a date with this guy, and it was like through a mutual friend, and he was cool, but he's still like, whenever I would like ever be single, like he always would still like me again on dating apps after the fact, like after this date. And I'm like, I don't know how to tell him this. He's the worst actual date that I've ever been on. And he knows it at this point. Like it's definitely, he's gotten it back to him that this has been the worst date. So I'm sorry, but he just like, to me, I can talk to a wall. So if I'm having a hard time speaking to you, it's bad. And I remember like all of his friends, he's like, I was told he's like such a goofy guy and all this and that. And I think that's true. I think sometimes just like maybe you go on a date and either you're nervous or you're this or that. It's hard for you to really tap into being yourself. But I remember I'd be like, oh, like, so like, you know, did you play sports in high school? If you're asking about high school, that's when you know it's bad. It's like, I've had to ask you about high school. We're struggling. And I would like be like, oh, so did you play? And he'd be like, baseball. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, this is, okay, I'll go fuck myself. Like, this is really awkward. So I think like if I can't have a conversation, and that was one date where I was like, oh my God. And then we both had mutual friends like meeting up at a bar, and my friends had met us and his friends had met us out. And then it was just, we just like split up. There was no like end to that date. It was just kind of like, oh, I'm going to go say hi to my friends over here. And he was over here with his friends. And then that was it. Yeah. That was the end of that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
What about you? Do you remember a bad date you had? You're like, actually with my husband, there was
no, well, honestly, the example I'm going to give is with him. But, well, I mean, I was 20 when we met.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I hadn't really like I dated a guy before him for almost 2 years. So like there wasn't really like
a lot of dating that actually,
yeah, there wasn't much like dates that occurred, but
I was a serial dater. So baby, I got mine.
I
got my dates in. Yeah. I've done enough dates for a lifetime, I think.
You did it for both of us. No, but our one of our worst dates, which is obviously just a fun memory now, is I think it was like our 6-month dating anniversary, whatever you want to call it. We had gone to this sushi restaurant that was like supposed to be like this hidden gem hole in the wall, and it was disgusting. Like it was so bad. And so we were literally taking bites of food, putting it into our napkin.
Oh God.
And we took turns going to the bathroom and flushing it down the toilet.
Oh my gosh.
Like literally both. And they were like, is it good? And we were like, mm-hmm.
Like it's actually so, yeah, because I'm like, I can't speak up like in that situation, because I just feel so bad that I'm like, oh,
neither one of us are like that. And my husband especially he's just so nice. He would never, and I could never, because I'm not confrontational. So we both were just really shit out of luck in that scenario. So we both went to the bathroom multiple times. It was like one of those preset menus. So like there wasn't anything, like there was nothing I could do. And he was still kind of newer to sushi.
Yeah.
I had like sushi, but he was still kind of figuring it out.
He's figuring out what he does not like. In that moment, he was figuring a lot of what he doesn't like.
Yeah. We were both nauseous, and we were like, okay, so we're just going to, we literally each made like 2 bathroom trips. And like, I think I threw my napkin away in there once, and I was like, can I get a new napkin? I dropped it and then like got a new one. Yep. And then we went and got Mexican food, and then it was great. At
least it had a happy ending.
Yeah, no.
One time me and my boyfriend went on it was like right before we started dating. It was actually way before we started dating. It was still when he was like trying to, I feel like, court me back in the beginning days. And he asked me to go paddleboarding. And I was like, just like not my vibe. Like I don't mind a paddleboarding situation, but like at this point I'm like, it was a crappy day outside. It was like a Saturday morning. Yeah. It was with all of his friends. And at this point, like his friends that were visiting and their parents. And I was just like, whoa, like this is a lot. Like I don't know any of these people. They're all visiting from out of town. Went on this dang paddleboarding date, and everyone just kept like, he kept making, I think he like thought it was like funny to like, I think sometimes boys find humor in like fucking with people. And I was just like not feeling it, especially because I'm like, I don't know any of your friends like this. I don't know their parents like this. Yeah. And he kept on just like messing with me, making jokes about me not being athletic. And we were paddleboarding, and then I just like started like going back. I was like, I'm leaving. And he was like, where are you going? And I kept running. I just like acted like I couldn't hear him. And I was like paddleboarding away. And then finally he caught up to me and was like, where are you going? I was like, oh, I'm leaving. Like, this is not fun. Okay. It's raining outside. I don't know anybody here. I keep on getting bullied for not being athletic. Like, and he learned, I think quickly on like, that was too far. I'm done bullying her. She actually does not react well to being bullied, like, especially in front of people.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. Okay, last question I have just for you, outside of this tea time with Tay, is I'd love to know what you're most proud of yourself for, because I feel like you've probably, what I've learned from you today is I feel like over the past 5-ish years, like you've been through a lot of like growth and change and adjusting and new life. So I'd love to know like what you're most proud of yourself for.
I think for me, I think just knowing where I came from and seeing where I am now is like the biggest thing. You know, like I feel like it's so, when you're, you know, in a small town and you just see everybody kind of doing the same thing, and it's just like a very, everyone's doing the same thing, and you don't really realize, I think, what all can be out there in the world. And I think now that I have this experience and I can like look back at a lot of the stuff that I've accomplished, it's kind of crazy. I even managed to get as far as I have.
Yeah.
And I think just overall, whether even like moving, like that is such a big, like so many people I feel like where I grew up, like don't get the chance to move. And it's not even necessarily that I think like people can't move. It's just that life is just a certain way, you know, when you grow up, it's just very comfortable. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I think that putting myself in situations that has made me uncomfortable, I'm very proud of that because I think that's kind of abnormal from where I came from.
Yeah.
So just doing that and not following what was easy. I think at times, you know, it would have been the easy decision just to like go to college and do what probably my parents wanted me to do. And I'm happy that at such a young age, I'm proud of myself to be like, no, like I know this is what I want to do and this is worth it for me and I'm going to try it out. And I think there's just been so many situations along the way in the last couple of years that people have been like, well, how did you know? How did you know? And I think people always expect there to be like your big moment happens and everything just hits you at once. And it's like, oh, now I know. And it's never like that. At least for me, it was never like that. It's just kind of like, you have to tell yourself you're okay with failing. And I think I went through a lot of phases over the last couple of years of being okay with failing. And sometimes I do. And then sometimes you don't and you move on. And either way you grow from it. And I think I'm just really impressed with my resilience over like the last couple of years.
I love that.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having
I feel like
me.
we could have literally chatted for like a
I
very
told
long
you.
time. I
I can talk, girl.
So good.